Hello. Okay, so I have this thought, and it's formulating, and as I talk, I know it will come and be able to be put out into words. That is that why does God let the world be the way it is? Pain and suffering are... Well, if God made you in His image, nowhere does it say His physical image. It says His image. So, it's more of a soul. It's more of a spiritual, or where you no physical. It's all a spiritual, or challenge a word. That word. It's not to the point that if God made you in His image, then that means you have every single ability that God does. Well, then why can't I snap my fingers or think of something and it hasn't happened? Well, because you already wanted something to happen. And you agreed to having to re-ask or re-command, or what it is, rethink from the point of stepping, so going from that egg to that baby chick to that chicken or rooster, that you are able to go ahead and realize. Because, well, what if you came from perfection and now you want to see what it is to be imperfection? Or you came from all-knowing and you want to know what it is to know what it is to perceive from the not knowing of life. And so when you have the whole concept of you create your own world, it's true, you do. It's just you have to really comprehend or have an idea of what it is, whatever degree it really comes from, to or whatnot, to the fact that you have the point of changing something. So we can say, what would you say to your past self, your younger self, and of what you know now? Like 2 words. Be happy. Well, doing that, you now made it to where they're going to try to be happy instead of working through whatever it is that you had to work through at that time. Now, this isn't going off of, this is, okay, well, in that perspective that you said that to your younger self, they're working through being happy, and now they're unable to work through whatever else that you needed to get to that point that you're at. So now your whole life has changed. From those 2 words has changed your whole life. There could be now, instead of being able to receive, be happy from the way that you would have originally done it to get to that point, you got it from yourself. And so now, well, what if it was from like your mother or your father or a family member or something like that, to where their sole purpose or their next thing before they died, in a sense, is to assist you to be happy, to work through that thing. As in simple of as when you said be happy to yourself. So now essentially it's not that you killed that person, it's that you fast forwarded their death, because death is inevitable in a sense when you have a physical form, unless you have like other things where it's like you have higher vibrational and you're super angelic or more than somebody else in a sense. And what I was trying to say when I was like is that doesn't necessarily address the whole parallel dimension where you're talking to your younger self from a different dimension, and so it's not necessarily your younger self, just another version of you. But that's a whole other retrospect. And so that's just kind of a perspective of what it is to, well, why is there all this hardship and all this kind of stuff? Well, it depends on the world you want to live in. It depends on the group collective of everybody wanting the world to live in. You know, you can go and you can be happy and healthy and everything like that, and never meet somebody and their world is sad and miserable and they're unhealthy. Still, you live in the same planet, the same focus on if everybody is a view window to God, then God says the Milky Way galaxy and then Earth, and then all you have to do is say this person, or that kind of thing, as to direct of how to see. It really comes down to kind of how much of the unknown do you want to know in regards of you unknowing everything that you know. So it's not necessarily not being happy with yourself or not wanting to be yourself. It's kind of like you changing your entire world around and losing something. That what, like I was saying, no, in that earlier, that whole, what would you say to your younger self? Those two words, you just essentially, in simpleness, you killed somebody because they weren't needed here anymore. They weren't needed to tell you to be happy, like you said to yourself.